Latin America is relevant. It won't be the main engine of growth in the world because still small, but it has been extremely successful recently. We used to say that whenever the world had a flu, Latin America had pneumonia. So the world had a recession, we had a depression. And the world had a boom, we had a super boom. So the issue now is why, for the first time, if you look at those data, you will look at Latin America, during the 2009 recession, had the same decline as the world economy. Not 10 times as it was used to be. And now it's growing much faster than the world. And it even was growing faster before. There is a lot of issues in the micro side that Latin America still has to overcome, a lot of problems. But there are good macroeconomic policies and good luck. Why good luck? Because terms of trade have been very high.
Brazil in 2002 was a debtor country to the IMF. Today they are a lender. The unemployment rate was over 12%. Today it is at an historically low 5.3%. The public debt to GDP was over 60%. Today it is under 40%. The banks in Brazil have some of the highest reserves to any country's bank's reserves in the world. And basically they have the cushion now to absorb, as we know will happen in the future, both internal and external shocks. But what is the real story about Brazil and what President Lula accomplished with the leadership that President Cardoso initiated during his term? And that is the movement into a middle class. 30 million new middle class residents in Brazil in 8 years. Today, the central bank just issued a report saying 15 more million will leave extreme poverty in the next 4 years. Remarkable statistics. In fact, probably eliminating in this decade extreme poverty in Brazil.
The presence of NAFTA, Mercosur, CARICOM, and other regional organizations is important, and it has contributed both to political stability and to economic growth, probably, but the impression is that globalization has been stronger than regionalization in Latin America until today.
There has been continuity of leadership, and here Brazil has been particularly relevant because it has changed governments 3 times in the last 16, 17 years, and yet it has maintained a very similar orientation in its economic policy, and that is something that is simply, there's no precedent for that in most of the region. Most important, there has been a very strong rejection of populism and rampant corruption as the elements to run economies by. In this sense, there's a very strong commitment to fiscal stability, and that transcends the region in general. Parties in government come and go from the left and from the right, and yet the thrust does not change. And that is an accomplishment that should indicate a significant future, a significantly different future for Latin America than one would have expected some decades ago. The final trend is that very few of these nations have so far used the ongoing boom to build the foundation for long-term development. There has been little relevant investment in infrastructure, innovation, or education as a result of these booms. There has been relatively little emphasis on adding value or increasing productivity. And there's a huge challenge in dealing with organized crime and drugs in some countries more than in others, but that's a regional element. So the coin is in the air about the future of the region. It's very encouraging to witness democratic politics in action, something that didn't exist before. And it's also very encouraging that these democratic politics have strengthened continuity and stability in the region.